Hello viewers and welcome to another match of Warhammer 40,000 Conquest. My name is Mitch and I am the Hive Tyrant. Today we have another game taken from the 4th week of Sam Mann's Black Crusade, the spring 2016 season of his online Conquest LCG competitive league. For today's game, at the bottom of our screen we have Octagon user Bunny Ninja 14, aka Jenny Schafer. In today's match, she's going to be playing as our latest to be released Space Marines faction warlord Chaplain Mavros. At the top of our screen, we instead see dear friend of mine Travis McDaniel. He's playing as his tried and true, consistent Broderick Worr. Both of our players are considering whether or not they want to keep their opening hands. Travis does decide to stick with his, and he's got a swath of low-cost economy/combat units. He's got a copy of Tallarn Raiders, 2 Sakhalem Shrine Guard, also a Snakebite Thug. It doesn't benefit from War's +1 attack value bonus, but it's going to be great to sit on a non-green planet and collect economy and serve as a fantastic deterrent for the enemy Warlord to snipe. And we also see a 2 shield card, an Anxious Infantry platoon, and a promotion in Travis's hand as well. So he's starting off with some absolutely fantastic stuff. And then on the opposite end of the board, Jenny begins play with an Inquisitor Caius Roth in hand, a couple of copies of Drop Pod Assault, an Eager Recruit, an Imperial Fist's Siege Force to remove allies, a low-cost economy unit, and an Imperial Fist's Devastators, which might be great to destroy I believe a troop transport or not a troop transport, but a forward barracks and an ammo depot, since it can only target locations. Planet number 1 is going to be Barlas, the forced random card discard planet. Initiative belongs to War, and it looks like our first 3 planets, in addition to planet number 5, are going to be green, which is very relevant to War. All of our AM units get a +1 attack value, they can't retreat, they can't be routed, and Chaplain Mavros' ability, his, only happens to work on blue planets, and it's looking like we don't actually see a blue planet until 3, 4, and 5, so he can deal a point of damage to a Space Marine faction unit he controls in order to give it a +1 attack value bonus until the end of the phase, and that happens to be limit twice per phase. At planet number 1, we've got a copy of that Anxious Infantry platoon. It's got initiative, it's going to be able to attack for 4. Mavros himself is only a 2/7, so he's not necessarily going to be able to realistically take planet number 1 by himself, but he does have a surprising number of ambush effects, so the double drop pod assault in addition to an Eager Recruit. Do bear in mind that at planet number 3 we've seen an Imperial Fist's Siege Force played opposite a Sakhalem Shrine Guard, and it looks as though we're not actually routing that unit. One of our spectators calls out War, right? And Travis realizes, of course, units at green planets cannot retreat and they cannot be routed. So the Imperial Fist Siege Force ideally removes an enemy economy unit and then wins you command, but unfortunately against War that is not going to be an option. So not just planet number 3, but also planet number 2, we see a copy of Sakhalem Shrine Guard. Both players are going to be tied for economy at planet number 3, and looks like Travis is currently winning at 1 and 2. Travis is down to 3 resources in total. He might end up putting out a copy of Snakebite Thug or Tallarn Raiders. I think really either of those we could reasonably see played at planet number 4 in addition to a copy of Promotion, but really I think it's only going to be the Snakebite Thug which might avoid an attempted snipe on behalf of Mavros here. So, what are some desirable destinations for War? Note that at planet number 2, at a non-blue planet, we've got this Imperial Fist's Devastators, so 2 command icons opposite 1. Granted, it's a 4-cost 4/3, but it could potentially earn Mavros some economy. Planet number 2 is Taurus, which rewards you if you've got a lower unit count than does your opponent. Travis, at the moment, has 5 units in total relative to Mavros's 4, but if Mavros Mavros is to go to planet number 2, he's going to have to kill an enemy unit in order to win a battle at that planet. That'll drop War to 4 units in total, and then Mavros, because of this Imperial Fist's Devastators, is going to be unable to actually trigger Taurus's... Well, he can trigger the ability, but I guess actually he can't even really trigger the ability here. But we do see a copy of Tallarn Raiders with promotion played to planet number 4. I can only imagine that, yes, it looks like Bunny Ninja, Jenny, has passed, and now it's all going to be up to Travis. He's got 2 resources left. Is he going to put a Snakebite Thug somewhere? The answer is yes, but where exactly is he going to be trying to do so? Both of these copies of Sakhalem Shrine Guard at green planets are going to be attacking for 3, and this Tallarn Raiders is going to be a base 0-2, but it does have 3 command icons relative to the 1 command icon associated with this 10th Company Scout. Bunny Ninja is unfortunately out of resources, so she's not going to have anything to fund those ambush-style card effects in her hand, and it's looking at the moment... Where exactly would Mavros want to go? If Mavros goes to planet number 1, he'd have to use a fair number of shield cards just to make sure that he's able to clear out this Anxious Infantry platoon. Do bear in mind that planet number 3 is going to be Iridial, the healing planet. If Mavros arrives at planet number 2, he'll have to kill 2 formidable enemy units to do so, and then that's going to be War's unit count being reduced to 4, which will potentially match Mavros' unit count of also 4. And if Mavros were to show up at planet number 2, then I think Travis would be heavily incentivized to ignore the Imperial Fist's Devastators in favor of chipping away at Mavros and ensuring that the unit count does not drop to... I suppose the danger zone there. Mavros could show up at planet number 3, but he'd only stand to pick up 1 card from doing so. Mavros could also go to planet number 4. He could collect a card, he could collect a resource. He'll probably be able to kill off this, it would be a 2-2 Tallarn Raider, and that might be the best scenario for Mavros here. For War, I wouldn't be shocked to see him go to, I suppose his destination is planet number 2, and this is going to be very interesting indeed. So War is going to maintain initiative at planet number 2. He's got a Snakebite Thug 3-4 that damages itself. He's also got a Sakhalem Shrine Guard at that planet, which is going to be a 3-2. Mavros is a 2-7. The Imperial Fist's Devastators are a 4-3. And War himself isn't going to be able to do that much in regard to combat. Do note that thanks to Command Struggle wins at planets 1 and 4, that's going to be 3 cards and 1 resource for Travis. He got an Elysian Assault Team. He's got a 2-value shield card, and Jenny, unfortunately, does not come across any resources whatsoever to fund her combat tricks. Travis is going to win a battle at planet number 1 entirely uncontested. That's going to be a green strongpoint type icon added to his victory display. That's going to be a card randomly discarded from Jenny's hand, and it looks like it's going to be a copy of Eager Recruits, so that about sucks to lose. And now, very interestingly indeed, we're going to be seeing a battle breaking out at this planet. Jenny certainly got a couple of 2-value shield cards in hand. The Sakhalem Shrine Guard is going to direct its attack at the 4-3 Imperial Fist's Devastators, and now is it going to be Chaplain Mavros expending a drop pod assault just to preserve the life of that 4-cost army unit that has done absolutely nothing for her in regard to command or combat thus far, or is she going to allow it to die? And if it does die, she's essentially giving up this planet. It's not like War is going to be able to trigger the battle ability of Taurus and win. But if Mavros stays, he's going to be taking a whole hell of a lot of damage, and if War at some point manages to trigger Iridial, he'll be able to cleanse all of the damage off of him. And do note that since this is not a blue technology planet, Mavros cannot augment his own attack, and he cannot increase the attack value of the Imperial Fist's Devastators either. We did see a copy of Drop Pod Assault expend as a shield. It's going to be 1 point of damage dealt to the Imperial Fist's Devastators, Devastators. And now what exactly are we going to see them do? Are they going to take a shot at Broderick Worr? Are they instead going to potentially destroy the Snakebite Thug? Since it damages itself after it resolves its attack, we could see a swing of 4 drop it to 2 hit points if Travis decides to use the Emperor's Warrant. And I suppose with that 2-value shield card, even after it resolves an attack, it'll still have 1 lone hit point remaining. So maybe this is going to be a little bit of a gamble for Jenny in regard to, you know, trying to think, does Travis potentially have any 2-value shield cards in hand or not? The Imperial Fist's Devastators do swing at the Snakebite Thug. Emperor's Warrant is used as a shield, and now the Thug is going to be readily able to take an attack. And I would imagine that it's going to be directed toward Chaplain Mavros. You could go for the kill of this Imperial Fist's Devastators, but you've got the opportunity to swing, so I imagine you may want to attack Mavros prior to his ability to retreat from the planet, but no, it looks like Travis is playing things a little bit conservatively. He's going to try to get rid of this unit. He's going to direct an attack valued at 3 at the 2-hit point Imperial Fist's Devastators, and now Jenny has to decide. She's got a drop pod assault. She could save this unit, but if she does decide to do so, it's going to be left with 1 hit point, and if she retreats with it because she doesn't have initiative, it's going to be showing up later exhausted. Jenny makes the difficult, albeit correct, in my opinion, choice, and lets the Devastators die. Now it's going to be Mavros. Is he going to attempt to kill the Sakhalem Shrine Guard? Is he going to attempt to destroy the Snakebite Thug, which will end up killing itself after resolving its next attack? Unless, of course, Travis triggers Iridial during the following combat round and then purges the Snakebite Thug of damage. These units are not going to be swept up in his HQ as of yet, so we'll have to see what exactly is going to happen. Is Mavros? Yes, Mavros is going to take a swing at the Sakhalem Shrine Guard. I would not be tremendously surprised to see the Elysian Assault team dropped into play. Looks like Travis, instead of discarding it, moves it to the side because interrupts take place immediately prior to their triggering condition. The Elysian Assault team drops into play. It's going to be able to attack for 3. War is going to be able to attack for 2. So is Mavros going to take a total of 5, or, thanks to a drop pod assault, which is going to stand to deprive Jenny of one of her scarcely few combat tricks, is she going to end up taking only a total of 3 damage? Either way, Jenny's in a really difficult position really early on, and Travis is just kind of running amok and just abusing our poor Space Marine players. So the Elysian Assault team takes a swing of 3. Mavros is rather wounded. Broderick Worr himself is also going to be attacking for 2, and that is going to be 5 total damage on Chaplain Mavros, so he's going to be heavily incentivized to deploy, well, sorry, not deploy, but commit himself to Iridial and attempt to win a battle at that planet. Forgo triggering Taurus during the following round. We come to the end of combat. Travis indicates he's going to be staying with each and every one of his units, and Chaplain Mavros does indeed quite wisely retreat. Unit count is going to be 3 for our Space Marine, and it's going to be 6 for Broderick Worr, so therefore there's no triggering of that battle ability. Worr bounces back to his HQ. That's going to be the end of the round here. And that will be our HQ phase, resulting in 2 cards and 4 resources for each of our players. Our new 5th planet is going to be Planum, which affords you the opportunity to move a non-Warlord unit. Mavros didn't really get any combat units whatsoever, which definitely sucks for Mavros here, because Mavros is already falling behind quickly economically, and it's looking like he is a Warlord, she is a player, is not going to be able to do anything this round to really reestablish herself. Inquisitor Caius Roth could end up being played. Both players are going to have to discard down to 4 cards, but Travis has 4 cards in hand, and that's going to be the one and only action for our Inquisitor here. So Mavros picks up a copy of the Ancient Crozius Arcanum. It's his signature attachment. It's a 1-cost attachment, which gives the attached unit unstoppable. So the first time each round that Mavros takes damage, you prevent a point of damage and you remove a point point of damage. That is limit once per round. It kinda sorta gives Mavros an additional 2 HP, but still, he's only at, say, a modified 4, and an Anxious Infantry platoon can attack for 4. Mavros does have a copy of Drop Pod Assault, which he could use as shields. He's got a copy of Primal Howl, which commit to the same planet as the enemy Warlord. That could result in him drawing a few additional cards. But, he doesn't have the resources required to fund a lot of combat tricks like that Drop Pod Assault. We've got enough for that, but maybe if Jenny gets an Eager Recruit, she'll be able to do something with that, but things are definitely not looking great for her. Planet number 2, Iron Guard Recruits, is going to be a 2-command icon 2/2 that's tightening that economic stranglehold that that War has upon Mavros. And at planet number 5, we've got a copy of the 2-cost 1/4 2-command icon Sanctioned Psyker. It's at a blue and green planet, but it's not as if Mavros is going to want to wound himself, and I suppose we'll have to see where exactly our players decide to send their respective warlords. Planet number 3 is going to be the earliest possible victory condition for Broderick Worr. I suppose there's no harm in Broderick sending himself to that planet, because in the worst case scenario, Worr takes almost bloodying damage and then retreats at the end of the combat round. He drops off sufficient units, a sufficient volume of units to result in Mavros being unable to win a battle at that planet, and then a battle won at Iridial would end up purging War of any damage he ends up taking. Jenny really only has that Drop Pod Assault working in her favor. Primal Howl could be great if she ends up going to planet number 2 alongside Broderick Worr, but apart from that, Mavros would be essentially committing suicide if he arrives at planet number 1. Planet number 4 would be essentially useless. Planet number 5, I guess, might be somewhat interesting, but I guess my big concern here is Mavros is maybe going to want to go to planet number 2 just to attempt to stave off War from reaching critical mass at his victory condition planets, just because I think if we were to see Mavros show up at Planum and allow War to really establish a lockhold and stranglehold at this victory condition, then that is going to be GG for Mavros right there. So Travis has only got one card in hand. It's nothing relevant to combat. Both of our players are deciding where exactly they want to send their respective warlords. I was going to say it seems like it would be asinine. It seems like it would be asinine for Travis to send his warlord to anywhere apart from planet number 2, and Mavros decides to show up at planet number 1. So is Mavros somehow going to be able to stave off this onslaught of enemy units? Perhaps Jenny is taking a bit of a big gamble here. Travis ends up getting 3 cards and 2 resources in total, relative to the just 1 resource and 1 card for Jenny. Jenny got a copy of Imperial Fist's Siege Force, wholly irrelevant to combat, and she's only going to have enough resources to use that Drop Pod Assault, so she could end up conceivably taking planet number 1, but War does have another 2-value shield card in hand. So at planet number 1, Mavros is going to be retaining initiative. He'll have an opportunity to attack for 2, but he's not going to be able to kill off any of these units with the assistance of a shield card of Travis, and should Mavros decide to do that, let's say an attack of 3, 6, and 9 means that Mavros is going to be bloodied and ejected from that planet, unless we see a copy of Drop Pod Assault strike big. Something like Tactical Squad Cardenas using Area Effect could threaten to kill off the Snakebite Thug and the Elysian Assault Team. Blood Angels Veterans could be decent. An Honored Librarian could be okay, but I guess let's see what exactly happens here. The Elysian Assault Team is the recipient of a Mavros-directed attack. Emperor's Warrant is going to be dropped onto the battlefield here, and now let's see just how much poor Mavros is going to be suffering. So he's going to be preventing the first point of damage he takes, and removing 1 point of damage, so let's call it 4 hit points remaining for Mavros. The Snakebite Thug, for instance, can swing for 3, and Mavros will end up surviving that with just 1 hit point remaining, but the same exact thing could be said for the Talarn Raiders and the Elysian Assault Team, and you probably definitely want to attack with the Snakebite Thug last, just because it is guaranteed to kill itself. I think that probably the wisest move is attacking first with the Elysian Assault Team, team, because it's not going to be killing itself upon resolving its attack. The assault team is going to attack for 3. We prevent the first point of that damage, so it's down to 2. Then Mavros pulls a point of damage off of himself, and then you add a point of damage to that. So it looks like we're preventing all of that damage, and Mavros is going to heal for 1 point. Primal Howl was used as a shield, so that's basically 3 prevented points, and yes, there's that healing effect. It's now going to be Mavros' opportunity to take a combat turn and action. So are we going to see Drop Pod Assault or not? If we don't see Drop Pod Assault, then that's basically Bunny Ninja indicating that she's okay with Mavros being bloodied, and if we do see a Drop Pod Assault, then that is going to be Jenny taking a significant risk here. She indicates that she has an action, and let's hope it is worth it for her sake. So what exactly are we going to see with this Drop Pod Assault? She's going to take a look at the top 6 cards of her deck for any card that she would like. Well, sorry, any Space Marine unit with a cost 3 or lower, so that is actually very far from any card that she would like, and let's see what she hits, if anything. If she whiffs, this may as well be the game right here. But is Mavros going to be able to win? Planet number 1, is Mavros going to be able to delay the opponent's presumable victory condition here at planet number 2? I wish there were any way of seeing what Jenny is looking at right now, but she's coldly and calculatedly assessing the top 6 cards of her deck. A Blood Angels Veterans could drop into play and presumably kill a copy of Tallarn Raiders. Let's see, if the Tallarn Raiders were to die, I guess we need not do too much theorizing, because she found a copy of Reclusium Templar. So they're going to be a 2/3 unit with the Unstoppable specialization. The first time they're dealt damage, you prevent 1 and then ready it. They're going to be able to attack for 2. Do note that Travis is going to be out of shields, so he's going to be attacking, and he'll be able to kill either the Tallarn Raiders or the Snakebite Thug. I suppose the more guaranteed kill would be the Snakebite Thug, but if, I guess, in a perfect world, if she knew the contents of Travis's hand, she'd kill the Tallarn Raiders, and then we'd come to the end of a combat round. We'd be, essentially, our AM player would be forced to not retreat with his Elysian Assault team or the Tallarn Raiders. Okay, so it looks like the Reclusium Templar managed to kill the Snakebite Thug. Are we going to see the Tallarn Raiders potentially bloody Chaplain Mavros? There's going to be absolutely nothing that our AM player is going to be able to do to resist this effect. So is Travis going to be attacking for 3, or is he instead going to be attacking the Reclusium Templars just to enable them to get an additional attack? All he can really do is swing at them for 3, and if that's the case, they're going to be surviving at 2 hit points because of that Unstoppable specialization, and they're additionally going to be readying. Travis decides to take a swing at Chaplain Mavros. He is going to be bloodied, and now he's going to be no more than a 1/6 Warlord, albeit with his Ancient Crozius Arcanum, and now it's going to be a 1/2 copy of Tallarn Raiders and a 3/1 Elysian Assault team against this Reclusium Templar here. Travis is out of cheeky tricks in hand. We're going to be coming to the end of a combat round. It's going to be Mavros attacking first. Mavros is going to be able to kill the Elysian Assault team with the Reclusium Templar. The Tallarn Raiders are going to be attacking for 1, then he'll swing again. Then Mavros is going to end up killing that unit. That is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 units controlled by Mavros, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 controlled by Travis. That's going to enable Jenny to presumably draw 3 cards from Taurus, and Travis's victory condition, all he's got is 1 green icon, so we could see planet number 2 presumably going to Travis, and then Travis won't be able to win until probably planet number 4, or if he ends up getting a copy of Preemptive Barrage, he might be able to to kill off the bloodied copy of Chaplain Mavros here. But looks like combat is ensuing exactly as I predicted it would. The Reclusium Templars cleared out this copy of the Elysian Assault Team. They took a single point of damage. They prevented that point of damage, and now they're going to have another opportunity to attack. That's going to be a dead copy of Tallarn Raiders, and that is going to be 3 cards added to Jenny's hand, presuming she does not decide to go for resources. It did come at the cost of her having a bloodied Warlord, and that's going to be an incredibly dangerous prospect in the context of having Broderick anywhere on the table, because he augments AM units everywhere, and preemptive barrage is very much a thing. So let's see what's going to happen. Taurus is going to be added to the victory display of Jenny. That's going to be a red and a green icon added toward her potentially winning the game, and she's going to draw a total of 3 cards. Let's see what exactly they're going to be. So she needed army units, and she got army units. She got another couple of signature instances of Reclusium Templars, so they're 3-cost 2/3s that give you a little bit of action advantage, and let's see what she decides to do with those. We've got a copy of Veteran Brother Maxos, normally a fantastic addition to its fellow Ultramarine, Captain Cato Sicarius, who generates far more resources than the rather expensive Chaplain Mavros could ever hope to do, but it's got a couple command icons associated with it. It's great for economy. War ends up killing off that Imperial Fist's siege force. He's not going to be able to benefit from triggering this battle ability. He doesn't have a copy of Sakalim's Finest to cheat into play through kind of replacing the activation of that battle ability there. But Travis is nicely set up to win at this planet, and now really all he's going to have to do is set himself up to win the game at our soon-to-be planet number 3 here, Yavvarn. But we're about to go through another HQ phase. That'll, of course, mean 2 cards and 4 resources for each of our players. Our new last planet is going to be Eloith, which allows you to look at the top 3 cards of your deck and add one of those to your hand, replacing the remaining 2 on the bottom of your deck in the order of your choice. Travis got a copy of the card drawing Ammo Depot Orc faction support. He also got a copy of Inquisitorial Fortress, which is going to be stellar for removing whatever piece, like choice elements of Mavros' army end up being assembled together. And do note that the next 5 planets are all blue, but Mavros no longer has the ability of his action, so I may as well not have mentioned that at all. Planets 1, 3, and 4 are all green, rather relevant to Mavros. Planet number 5, we've got another copy of Sanctioned Psyker. Travis drops a copy of Ammo Depot into play. He's at that 3-card threshold, and quickly Jenny is running out of resources. At planet number 2, looks like she's establishing a bit of a presence there. She's got 3 command icons thanks to Veteran Brother Maxos opposite this Tallarn Raider, which itself, thanks to promotion, is sitting pretty at 3 command icons. The activation of Aatrox Prime could deal a fair bit of damage to these AM units that are presumably going to be added to War's victory display, but Mavros is going to have his movement constricted thanks to the presence of the Reclusium Templar here. So we see 2 additional resources invested in the planet, in an Imperial Fist's siege force deployed to the planet Yavvarn. All it's going to be doing is picking up just 1 resource each command phase for Mavros, but it's going to be the possible victory condition planet for Travis. Resources are definitely a scarce commodity for Jenny, but she does have a copy of Sword Brethren Dreadnought in hand, and wouldn't you know it, we see a copy of Iron Guard Recruits played at planet number 3. So 2 command icons definitely trumps 1. And it looks like just that resource stranglehold continues to get ever more vice-like on behalf of Broderick. We do see a copy of Summary Execution added to Broderick Worr's hand, but even if Broderick ends up using that to do something cute like winning the game at planet number 2, or not winning the game, but winning the battle at planet number 2 and capturing planet number 2, that's not going to be a sufficient number of planet-type icons to actually win him the game. game here. So both of our players are deciding where exactly they want to send their warlords in regard to combat. War can pretty much go wherever he would like, and Mavros is going to want to, I guess really Mavros only has green icons, so the victory condition for Mavros really could be anywhere. Travis does decide to be a little bit ballsy. I'll be curious to see if he's simply going to be retreating Broderick. But Broderick arrives at planet number 2, and that is going to be 3 command icons and a warlord versus 3 command icons. So that is going to be 4 out of the 5 planets, resulting in Travis winning command struggles. We don't see a copy of Primal Howl, but what we do see is going to be a total of 4 cards and 2 resources for our Broderick Worr players. So we've got a copy of Suppressive Fire, we've got a copy of Commissarial Bolt Pistol, the 3 shield value signature attachment. Planet number 1 is going to be won by Broderick Worr. That's going to be added to his victory display, a planet type icon of each color. Now Travis only needs to win 2 more icons of any color or 1 green icon, and then that's the game. Travis has initiative at the first planet. Jenny only has 1 resource, so veteran brother Maxos isn't going to be doing much in regard to swaying or altering the outcome of combat at this planet. War decides to use his first action to retreat. Travis does have a couple of shield cards in hand, so we might see something along the lines of the Tallarn Raiders managing to kill off this copy of veteran brother Maxos unless Mavros is able to discard like a copy of Crushing Blow and then prevent that unit from being destroyed. So we see the 10th Company Scout take a swing. The Tallarn Raiders is quite handily destroyed, and that is going to be Aatrox Prime, won by Chaplain Mavros. That is going to be 5 whopping points of damage dealt to each and every one of these AM units. That means both of these Sakhalem Shrine Guards not present at a planet are going to be outright destroyed by this effect. The Anxious Infantry Platoon are going to take a point of damage. Alright, so looks like we see Summary Execution used to preserve the first Sakhalem Shrine Guard. And what all are we going to see? Okay, so the other copy, the other Shrine Guard is destroyed. Travis has decided to hang on to his copy of Suppressive Fire. So it looks like Travis is probably going to be committing war to our soon-to-be planet number 2 the following round to set himself up for his victory condition. He's got a couple copies now of Suppressive Fire. He's got a copy of Inquisitorial Fortress. So Mavros is going to be able to win, presumably planet number 1, but that is only going to be 1. Let's see here. It'll be 2 red icons in her victory display, and then planet number 2 is going to be the 3rd green strongpoint icon that Broderick Worr is going to need. So Jenny's got a total of 5 resources and 7 cards in hand after we pass through our HQ phase, and Travis dissimilarly well, I suppose it's actually rather similar. He's got 6 resources and 7 cards. A lot of those are events that are kind of going to basically what I'm trying to say is Travis is going to have to play out his other copy of Ammo Depot and then do a fair bit of shielding with this Summary Execution and expending these Suppressive Fires prior to his ability to really benefit from Ammo Depot. I'll be curious to see if we use Commissarial Bolt Pistol used as an attachment or used as a shield. At Planet 2, we've got a copy of that Imperial Fist Siege Force still, but we've now got a copy of Honored Librarian. I would not be shocked to see Inquisitorial Fortress remove that unit from the planet, or we could simply see Suppressive Fire exhausted, because if a War shows up alone at that planet and Mavros does not arrive, then that is going to be the initiative stolen by War. And that could be a lot of outgoing attacks, potentially killing off this Space Marine unit prior to it having any ability to attack, if we only see Suppressive Fire as opposed to Inquisitorial Fortress. But, of course, that Inquisitorial Fortress is going to be susceptible to destruction by Imperial Fist's Devastators. So, both of our players are deciding where exactly they want to send their warlords. Planet number 2, I predict, is going to be the destination for Broderick. I would say maybe planet number 4 for Mavros Mavros if he wants cards, planet number 3 if he wants a card and resource instead. Looks like Travis is indeed going to be showing up at planet number 2, but it looked like planet number 3 for a moment there. Mavros is going to be showing up at planet number 2, and that seems like a bit of a regrettable situation for poor Chaplain Mavros, and here is why. Travis is going to end up winning command at 3 different planets. Once again, that's only going to be a single card and a single resource added to the victory display of our Space Marine player, although we did stumble across a copy of Imperial Fist's Devastators. We could see Inquisitorial Fortress remove this copy of Honored Librarian. Mavros has initiative, so Mavros is going to be able to attack for 1 or 2 or maybe 4 if this unit isn't exhausted or if it's not routed. But man, Mavros is going to have to retreat relatively quickly, otherwise Mavros is going to run the risk of outright being destroyed. Planet number 1 is Aatrox Prime. It's rather handily going to be won by our Space Marine faction player. That's going to be a point of damage dealt out to a whole glut of AAM units at this planet, including the modified 3 attack value Broderick Worr. But Broderick has only got 4 hit points left, so therefore I would not be shocked to see Honored Librarian removed from that planet, or we might just see the Iron Guard recruits used for suppressive fire to exhaust that effect. 3 units are going to be added to Chaplain Mavros' victory display, and now Mavros is going to have to be deciding here. I suppose it's all going to come down to what kind of our Space Marine player's first combat turn we see. Jenny asks if Travis is going to be using any shield cards, and it looks like Travis is not until the very last possible moment. Yeah, so he indicates that he's not going to be shielding any. And now what all are we going to be seeing from Travis? The Iron Guard recruits is going to be killed. Do we see suppressive fire? Do we see Inquisitorial Fortress? There's no more Iridial on the board for healing, and Travis definitely has critical mass to get rid of the Space Marine player here. We could see Honored Librarian swing for 4 at Mavros. We could see a shield card used, and then Crushing Blow would result in the bloodying of Broderick Worr, but I cannot for the life of me see Travis allowing that to happen. Yep, that's going to be Inquisitorial Fortress removing the Honored Librarian. Of course, you could have used suppressive fire, but then you would have run the risk of your opponent being able to use an Imperial Fist's Devastators to destroy your support, so it looks like that is not the case, and now all that Mavros is going to be able to do is be able to take a swing at Broderick Worr for a measly 2 points of damage, and then Mavros is going to be able to attack for a paltry 1 point of damage. Then we've got an Anxious Infantry platoon that is going to be able to attack for 4, and in regard to shielding, Mavros only has a single shield card in hand, and Mavros has got a whole hell of a lot of units stuck in his HQ, so if he shows up during the following round and then ends up getting assassinated thanks to preemptive barrage, then that is totally going to suck for Mavros. That's going to be a copy of Promotion discarded as a shield to prevent the Imperial Fist's siege force from killing the Anxious Infantry platoon. We do see a copy of Crushing Blow used. That's a dead Anxious Infantry platoon. Jenny does have 3 resources in hand, and now we're going to have to see what exactly does Travis have faith in. So Travis has got those suppressive fires, but he doesn't know how many drop pod assaults and eager recruits his opponent has. Crushing Blow resulted in that Anxious Infantry platoon being killed, but a unit leaving play means Commissarial Bolt Pistol deals a point of damage to an army unit, and that army unit is going to be the Imperial Fist's siege force. So what exactly are we going to see here? If Worr takes a swing at Mavros, yep, that's going to be 2 points of damage. Mavros is not going to be able to heal through a point of damage because he doesn't have any current damage on him, and therefore this is going to be a suboptimal, albeit necessary, activation of this unstoppable keyword. That is 2 points of damage to Mavros, and now Mavros has got a little bit of a sticky situation facing her here, so she can attack for 1 and maybe kill this copy of Iron Guard recruits, although spoiler alert, no, she's not actually going to be able to. Travis has got a copy of Elysian Assault Team. He's got a copy of 2 suppressive fires. He's got an Inquisitorial Fortress. Things might be looking a little bit tricky for Broderick, but things are looking a whole hell of a lot worse for our Mavros player, and Travis has just got a whole host of different options available to him because of playing such a strong economic game thus far. If Mavros survives during the following round, Mavros is going to have to be resent to this planet. Mavros may well end up being assassinated thanks to ammo depots, thanks to just, HQ card draw, thanks to another powerful economy phase by the Astra Militarum player. That preemptive barrage is definitely going to spell disaster for him or her. But Mavros has to be sent to that planet just to drop off all of these exhausted units. Travis is going to have a lot of ready units, and things are just going to be looking damn difficult indeed for poor Chaplain Mavros. The Iron Guard recruits is not destroyed by Mavros thanks to the discard of a copy of Summary Execution. The Iron Guard recruits ever softening up Mavros. That's going to be another 2 points of damage on our Warlord here, and now he's only going to be sitting at a paltry 2 hit points remaining. Things are looking almost just unwinnable for Mavros at the moment, because a single copy of Preemptive Barrage drawn at any point is going to be disaster for our Space Marine player. During the HQ phase, that'll be 2 opportunities for Travis to maybe draw a copy of Barrage. He'll win at least 3 cards during the command phase. And those will be additional chances. Ammo Depot probably is never going to come into play to allow Travis additional chances to draw Preemptive Barrage prior to the onset of first combat. But it looks like Mavros decides at the end of the combat round to retreat with her Warlord. The Imperial Fist Siege Force stays at that planet. They will have initiative. They'll be able to attack for 2. And are we going to see Broderick? Well, we did see Broderick stay, so is it going to be suppressive fire exhausting the Imperial Fist's siege force, or what? Travis, unfortunately, is not going to be able to drop down to 3 cards in hand to get another activation out of his ammo depot here, but I can only imagine that Travis does have 3 more copies of Preemptive Barrage in his deck, and he's only got 22 cards remaining. Suppressive fire is going to exhaust the unbeknownst to them, inadvertently, unintentionally foolhardy Imperial Fist's siege force, and it looks like Rogel Dorn's poor units here are about to be blown to pieces. So the Iron Guard recruits deliver the suppressive fire, the Imperial Fist siege force are pinned down, and much as the artwork of the Anxious Infantry platoon depicts, I can only imagine that either they or our Sakhalem Shrine Guard are going to rend apart the siege force here. So my heart tells me it's going to be the Shrine Guard. Nope, it's going to be the infantry platoon dealing the killing blow. There's nothing that Jenny can do to stave off that effect. That's going to be Yvarn, won by Broderick, but I cannot envision him actually triggering that battle ability. Do note that veteran brother Maxos is going to be a factor which, in all honesty, probably isn't going to come into effect during our presumable last round of combat here, so that is battle concluding, and I can only imagine that this is going to be the very final HQ phase of the game. Travis's Warlord retreats, and let's go through that last HQ phase. If there's a preemptive barrage drawn by Travis at any point, it may as well be GG right then and there, unless, I guess, somehow Chaplain Mavros comes across 2 or 3 copies of Indomitable, but I believe that's a statistical improbability, so let's see what is going to happen. Both of our players have indicated that they have no more actions. HQ phase, let's see it. That is going to be preemptive barrage, so we may as well call out the GG, but let's see our players play this out. It's going to be a whole hell of a lot of shield cards for Mavros here. A copy of the Black Sword, 2 shield value attachment, and a copy of Primal Howl, which could allow Jenny a sterling opportunity to stumble across all the more combat tricks for Mavros, but this is going to be a lot of exhausted SM faction units showing up at that planet exhausted. The Reclusium Templars is going to be priority 0 target, because it would ready if you fail to kill it. So it's going to be up to Travis to pick off all of these susceptible units, and Travis, after Jenny has passed, he's unfortunately not going to be able to stave it off, but ideally he'd be able to drop this Inquisitorial Fortress into play after Jenny has used up, like, after she's dropped under 4 resources. Travis plays an ammo depot, so very wise that he decides to do that, and he's staving off that play of Inquisitorial Fortress, because now what exactly does Jenny have to do? Jenny either has to pass and move beyond deploy, or she has to play something like her Imperial Fist's Devastators now, and all she's going to be able to do is remove an Imperial Fist's remove an ammo depot as opposed to getting rid of an Inquisitorial Fortress. So Travis is certainly a superb Astra Militarum and really any faction player, because he's forcing Jenny Schafer here to make just some incredibly difficult decisions indeed. So what exactly is there left to see for her? We've got another copy of Reclusium Templar, so she is definitely not going down without a fight. It's going to be 3 of these Templar positioned at that planet. There we see that Inquisitorial Fortress, and there's going to be an Honored Librarian in play at that planet, but it's all going to be up to Travis. He's going to be able to use Preemptive Barrage to attack for 3 and 4 and 3 during ranged, and presumably kill Chaplain Mavros, but thanks to Primal Howl, who knows, Indomitable may end up being an option, and Travis may end up playing it safe and just deciding to try to pick apart his enemy's army of units. It's going to be integral that Travis does not mess this up. Things are going to be a little bit easier for him if he does manage to stumble upon another copy of Preemptive Barrage, but to no one's surprise, both of our players are going to send their respective warlords to planet number 1. So that is going to be a total of 3 cards and 2 resources won by Travis, and will we see Primal Howl used, or is she going to be instead saving it for shields? She could get an Eager Recruit, but she's not going to have enough for a Drop Pod Assault. We do see that Primal Howl used, and that is going to be 3 cards drawn by Chaplain Mavros, who is going to have to weather a whole hell of a lot of incoming enemy fire. Let's say Broderick at ranged for 3, the Sakhalem Shrine Guard at ranged for 3 makes it 6, the Anxious Infantry Platoon brings that to 10, and then the Snakebite Thug with initiative is going to be able to attack, and that's going to be a total of 13 points of damage dealt to Chaplain Mavros. Let's say we've got Indomitable, 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 and then that's going to be an attack of 4, even a 2-value shield card, and the Ancient Crozius Arcanum, that would put Chaplain Mavros at just 2 HP, but it's looking like this is not going to be enough here. So Travis did draw a second copy of Preemptive Barrage, and now what exactly is he going to be doing with it? Let's see if he's going to decide to try to kill off Chaplain Mavros, because, like I said, it's a statistical improbability that his opponent is going to be able to weather this onslaught. We see War with range, the Sakhalem Shrine Guard with ranged, as well as the Anxious Infantry Platoon with ranged. We've not seen the second Preemptive Barrage yet, but you can still wait to use that effect. We're going to see the Anxious Infantry Platoon attack Mavros for 4. The Black Sword drops that to 2 points of damage. Unstoppable triggers, it's going to be 1 point of damage. Mavros takes a point of damage and heals a point of damage. So Mavros remains at 2 HP remaining, and now the Ancient Crozius Arcanum may as well not be in play at all, because I don't think either of our players is going to be using Warp Storm or anything along those lines. So at the moment, let us consider it a wholly irrelevant attachment. So we've got a Sakhalem Shrine Guard that's going to be attacking Chaplain Mavros for 3, and that's it. Viewers, that is going to be the GG right there. The best thing we could see is this Exterminatus discarded as a shield, but that is still going to be 2 points of damage dealt out to Chaplain Mavros, and that is going to be game over. Mavros is going to be dead. And there we go. Jenny Schafer calls out the GG, so good game. Congratulations to Travis McDaniel, Octagon user I Fight Dragons, for managing to pilot Broderick Worr to a victory over our most recently released Space Marines faction warlord Chaplain Mavros. So, my dear viewers, I very much hope you enjoyed this match. Thank you to both of our players for allowing me this opportunity to record yet another Spring 2016 Black Crusade match. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to let me know in the comments what you thought about our players' deck building and gameplay respectively. Was there anything that Jenny piloting Mavros could have done to stop the AM player from winning? Certainly, she had a whole hell of a lot of units positioned at this planet, but Mavros just took too much damage too quickly, and that is going to be that. So, as always, thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this content, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you've not done so already, or if you are already subscribed, as ever, you're encouraged to share this content, because the more engagement these videos receive, the more individuals end up being exposed to Conquest. They may give the game a try, join our community, and of course, the greater we are in number, the bigger message we send to Fantasy Flight Games, telling them to continue to support this fantastic product. If you ever want to get in touch with me, I would encourage you to do so on social media, be it Facebook or Twitter, and if you ever feel any inclination whatsoever to help support the Hive Tyrant, I would be grateful for even a $1 contribution made to my Patreon. So, as always, thank you once again for watching, and be sure to check back in again soon for much more Conquest LCG content to come.